Hey everyone, it's Jordan here with Citywide Mortgage Services, your personal mortgage planner. Here's a roundup of the top 5 mortgage stories from 2022 as I see it, and what are we looking forward to, or should I say what's to come in 2023. Number 1, definitely the Bank of Canada interest rate hikes. We saw 400 basis points rise by the Bank of Canada in their key lending rate. And according to Macquarie Research, that is the sharpest calendar year of rate hikes since 1936. We went from a key lending rate of 0.25% to 4.25%, and we saw prime rate go from 2.45% to 6.45%. This all coming from the Bank of Canada. They told us we were going to have low rates until the end of 2023. That brings me to number 2. We saw a ton of mortgage borrowers take on variable rate mortgages. They were definitely the cheapest, the easiest to qualify for, and so we saw an abundance of borrowers take on those variable rate mortgages. Now the story is looking a little bit different, and we have a lot of borrowers in pain. For those borrowers who have a fixed payment with their variable rate, we saw them hitting something called their trigger rate, and that is when their payment is only enough to cover the interest portion and is no longer paying down their principal. We haven't seen borrowers hit their trigger rates since the 1970s. Those that have payments that adjust with the change in prime rate, they are seeing their payments go up by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So there has been a lot of pain, definitely. Next up, number 3, inflation. It's the highest it's been in 40 years, and that is why the Bank of Canada is raising these rates so quickly, so aggressively. We've got this inflation because there was so much demand. We're coming off of COVID. We've got the Ukraine war, supply chain issues. We're importing inflation, and it's making the overall cost of living difficult for many Canadians. Number 4, speaking about rates, it's all about rates, isn't it? We're seeing an end to these decade low interest rate environment. And so I don't expect to see these sub 2%, or even in the case of variable rates, sub 1% rates anytime soon, if at all. Which brings me to number 5. The real estate market that was so hot during COVID has basically fizzled out. There are fewer buyers, there is less inventory. People just can't qualify for mortgages. It doesn't make sense to get mortgages, and people are on the sidelines. People are holding on to their real estate. So we are seeing a massive correction, anywhere from 5 to 10%, and we are potentially going to see prices continue to drop. So what do we have in store for 2023? Where are we going? Well, let's start with, what is the Bank of Canada going to be doing? Are they going to increase rates even further? Well, they met just this month, and for the first time, their language was a little bit softer. They weren't saying that they definitely needed to increase rates to tackle the inflation. They're going to be seeing if it's necessary. So does that suggest that we are going to be pausing so that we can see how these interest rate hikes are affecting the economy, how they're weaving through, how they're dampening demand? I think that we are certainly at the top of these rate hikes. We might see another 25, maybe 50 basis points, but truth be told, we just don't know. At this point, they're saying their decisions are going to be based on data. So we need to see what the data is showing us in terms of the inflation, job numbers, and so forth. We also need to look at history. I think that we are going to see rates come down. This isn't forever. We know that it's very likely that we're going into a recession. And what happens when we go into a recession? Rates get cut. So we do expect rates to come down eventually, maybe not in 2023 so much, but we are expecting by 2024 No matter what 2023 has in store, please remember I'm always here to help, always here to offer you guidance, and wishing you the very, very best for the new year.